Scott. Let's grab the humans, elves, orcs, and dwarves, and let's start a new life together.
Well, Steve, we got a chance to take a look at Distant Kingdoms this week, and I just want to bounce some thoughts around. What was your first impression on this game?
Well, first of all, this was my very first sim building social management kind of game, and I've always sort of seen them and I've always been wary of them because I always find they always looked a little bit slow and a bit repetitive for me. So I was kind of looking forward to trying this one out, and I have to say, when you start off on the main screen, at the moment, because it's still early access, so we've only got a free trial and tutorial, the campaign is actually locked. So the tutorial was really good. So it basically starts you off with the marketplace and a storage unit, and then you have to link the two together by building a road, which costs you points or money. And you have to be very careful of this. And then that's the start of the premises of the game. And then it tells you to start. There's people waiting to move in. And it tells you the first basic steps of building your house, linking all the roads together. But I will say, after 3 hours of playing the tutorial, I didn't read the small print at the bottom of the screen of telling you there is no save progress after the tutorial. Which means that after that, I had to start from fresh. But I did was a little bit more better than the first time round.
That was my experience with it as well. When I had issues with my town, I just would do a restart, just start from scratch again, and knowing a little bit more about the game, I found that those designs worked a lot better. My cities grew a lot faster. But you're definitely correct about this being a colony sim, I believe they call it, which is absolutely slower than an RTS. They may look kind of similar. This one's more of a city builder, but at the core of it, you're dropping plans and your citizens are going about those plans when they have their own time. And you kind of just grow from there. You're right about the tutorial. Absolutely key that it explains how to play this game, what kind of things you should be prioritizing. That's definitely something that I've seen missing in other games kind of similar like this.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a positive. And it tells you have to establish a marketplace, you have to establish a warehouse, they need to put all their resources there. Work your way into sawmills and rock quarries and building farms, and it just kind of progresses as time goes on. You put points into research, and then that gives you a whole new group of things to build. So I think it has a really satisfying gameplay loop, but this is in early access, so we're not quite certain on the campaign storytelling aspect of it. But messing around in free play, I had a pretty good time, and my city started to get quite big.
And then I do like the quest to upgrade to make your people happy, whether it's picking berries, the needs that your community require. And then there's the skill tree. So say to gather the berries, you have to do this first, build that. And I do like the way you get the challenges to unlock these skills for you to craft. Then if it's like the gathering container to store your berries, to supply the needs, and then the next thing you need is to build your houses is lumber. But to get the lumber mill and things like that, you have to unlock certain things, whether it's build X amount of houses or upgrade the houses in the same respects of trying to keep everyone happy. Because if you start running out of money or the people start getting restless, they will actually leave your settlement. And then it could lead to bankrupt, which actually did happen to me twice.
The problem I found was that I would put too many resources into building certain things like housing and whatever, but then I wouldn't have enough resources to create the kind of means of feeding everybody or giving everybody a job. And when there was high unemployment, people weren't very happy with that, so I came into some issues that way. But there is a very nice logical progression. I think you've explained it just where you have to meet a certain criteria to unlock the next level of tech. And that next level
Yeah.
of tech could be, oh, now you can harvest rock, you can make brick with the quarries and stuff like that. And what I liked about this game versus some similar ones, I'm going to choose not to name them. This one, you don't have to tell each settler what to do. You just create a building that has so many jobs, and they'll figure it out amongst themselves who goes to work at the sawmill or the bakery or whichever.
Yeah.
Takes a lot less user input to keep your city running properly, and I like that for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. And as you were saying, when you start getting quite productive on the building, whether it's your crop farm, and then you have to have your windmill for the bakery to make bread to keep your people, you start running out of space very quick. And then what I found is you get to a point where you have to build a tavern. And in that case, is then you can actually start exploring, and the exploring is only like hexagon on the map, which you can only get to either side of you to start off, just start increasing the area to build on. And then what happens is you pick 4 different crew members, whether they're orcs, elves, dwarves, or humans, like a random. There didn't seem much logic on the choice of characters, and then they'll just venture out, and it'll just be text that'll come up if they found something or something worth exploring. And then when you go back to your main map, then it's unlocked, and then you can just carry on building to your next requirements of keeping your people happy to not make them leave. I sort of found the graphics mediocre. I found it quite suitable for the gameplay that I was playing. I know there is other sort of kind of games out there with better graphics and a bit more, I don't know if there's a bit more cutscenes or anything like that. But I did find the repetitive of the music a little bit annoying at times when you're sort of grinding for like 7 hours and you just keep the same loop of music. Is that kind of expected for these kind of games?
Yeah, I think that's a little par for the course. I agree with you, though. They certainly could have added a little bit more music variety. But I'm fresh off of another game, actually, in the same kind of loop that had absolutely no audio. And that was bad. That was definitely a negative. So at least I'm happy to see them have some sort of repeating, maybe 3-minute long song. But no, to your comment on how the game looks, I think it was adequate. I would explain it as adequate. This is an early access game, so as such, we are not ready to give it a full score. We haven't experienced the entire game yet, but if we're gonna have to recommend or not recommend this one, what would your opinion be, Steve?
I did actually enjoy the game. It did have some glitches. Wasn't too bad for me, but I did find the loading time was a little bit too long for this kind of game. It sort of almost made me bored and pulled me out a little bit. But apart from that, this is definitely a recommend for me because I did like the tutorial. Very well explained tutorial. How about you?
Oh, the tutorial is a hugely important part, often overlooked. No, I think this game is very satisfying. It has a nice gameplay loop, and it's not terribly complicated as I've seen others. So this one's a lot more user-friendly. It's a lot easier to get into.
Yeah.
This is, as a starting point for a colony sim, I think this is a very good place to start. I'm going to have to recommend this one. Distant Kingdoms is a competent and entertaining colony sim with an excellent tutorial mode. This is a great first try for those new to the genre. We definitely recommend.